everybody. Welcome to Kingdom Kids Vids. Today we're going to talk about one of the stories that Jesus told. This is the story of the Good Samaritan, and it comes out of Luke chapter 10. On one occasion, an expert in the law stood up to test Jesus. "Teacher," he asked, "what must I do to inherit eternal life?" "What is written in the law?" he replied. "How do you read it?" He answered, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your strength, and with all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself." "You have answered correctly," Jesus replied. "Do this, and you will live." But he wanted to justify himself, so he asked Jesus, "And who is my neighbor?" In reply, Jesus said, "A man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho. When he was attacked by robbers. They stripped him of his clothes, beat him, and went away, leaving him half dead. A priest happened to be going down the same road, and when he saw the man, he passed by on the other side. So too, a Levite, when she came to the place and saw him, passed by on the other side. But a Samaritan, as he traveled, came to where the man was, and when he saw him, he took pity on him. He went to him and bandaged his wounds, pouring on oil and wine. Then he put the man on his own donkey, brought him to an inn, and took care of him. The next day he took out 2 denarii and gave them to the innkeeper. "Look after him," he said, "and when I return, I will reimburse you for any extra expense that you may have." Which of these 3 do you think was a neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of robbers? The expert in the law replied, "The one who had mercy on him." Jesus told him, "Go do likewise." In Mark 12:29-31, Jesus said that the greatest commandments are to love God and to love your neighbor as yourself. So let's talk about that. How can we be like the Samaritan in this story by loving our neighbors? And who is my neighbor? Do you mean the person who lives next door to me?
Your neighbor is not just the person who lives next door or in your neighborhood. A neighbor can be your friend or a person in your family.
That's right, Zia. And in this story that Jesus tells, he goes a step further and says, your neighbor is not only your family, your friends, the people that live around you that you have things in common with, but it's also, in this story, a stranger. None of the people in the story that passed by the man on the street even knew him. And in fact, Samaritans and Jews did not get along in Jesus' day. If we were to retell the story for today, it would almost be as if somebody who was being bullied at school came across their bully having a really hard day and went out of their way to do something loving. It's time for our activity. Why don't you go get your journals or a piece of paper, and our first activity is to draw a picture or make a list of who is your neighbor. And it could be somebody that you know and love already, or it could be somebody that you don't know, you can pray about it and ask God to show you somebody who might need help or justice. So make a list or draw a picture. And the second activity is to answer this question: how can I show love to one of my neighbors this week? With action. Okay? And that's all we have for this week. We'll see you next time.